Hey, what's up, the internet? The sequencer on the Korg Monologue is pretty awesome. However, the problem is when you want to record multiple patterns into your DAW and keep everything in sync, it can be difficult. How do you do that? Well, let's talk about it right now. I'm using Reason today, but everything you're about to hear would work in any DAW. Some words and menus are a little different, but it all kind of works the same way. I thought I'd keep this Reason specific for today because I know there's a lot of lonely Reason neglected users out there like me. So let's dive right in. The first thing you want to do is make sure everything's set up on your monologue correctly. So I'm using the USB cable out the back, and I have that connected into my computer here. That's pretty convenient. DIN works too, but you know, USB's there, so might as well use it. The next thing you want to do is hit edit mode, and then you scroll down to global edit. Hit button number 4 here. It'll say MIDI channel, so channel 1's fine, doesn't really matter. Hit the same button again to advance through the menu options, represented by the dots there below. Clock source, auto, USB, make sure it's set there. If it's set to MIDI, that's for DIN. So we're using USB, so we're going to keep that on USB. All right, click it again. Let's keep going through. Enable RX MIDI, you want that on. Enable transport, on. Enable TX MIDI, on. We want all those on. The last one, MIDI root, you want that set to USB. Okay, so that's set to USB. It could also be set to USB plus MIDI. That's if you're using DIN. You only have 2 options. So if you're just using USB, might as well just have it set there. Okay, so now we can get out of there, and we're all set with that. Now we need to get everything set up inside Reason. So let's jump in. The first thing you're going to do is go into your options here. You see at the top you have general audio, and then we have sync here. Don't mess with the buses, you don't need that. The other thing you should do right now, if you haven't already, is download from the Korg website the MIDI USB driver that's appropriate for your machine. Go ahead and get that if you're using the USB thing. If you're using DIN, I don't think you need it. So go ahead and get that, and then after you do, you go down here to Output, and you'll have 2 options, Monologue MIDI out. That's actually not the one you want. You want Monologue sound. Make sure that is checked off, and make sure these checkboxes are all checked off as well. There's one here, it says input. That's if Reason is going to be the slave and something else is going to be the master, but in this case, Reason will be the master and the monologue will be the slave. So we're going to leave that to no MIDI clock output. So leave that. And I find the -12 offset is fine, milliseconds. That works for me. You have to experiment. Go ahead and get rid of that. But you're not done. This is where a lot of people get caught up. You need to then also go down to sync mode. Don't forget this. I'm in Reason 9.5 right now. This is similar in the other versions of Reason around this version, but you gotta maybe search around for this. I don't know if every single one going back to version 3 or 4 is this way, but anyway. So go to this sync mode. Internal is always going to be set because Reason is the master. It's not being clocked by another DAW or piece of hardware or anything. So that's checked. And then send MIDI clock. This is crucial. Make sure this is checked off. If it's not checked, go ahead and click that. Okay, so now that is set. You can change the BPM to whatever you want, of course, and that will be reflected in the sequencer here. All right, so we're going to record a little pattern now. My track 1 is armed. Let's go ahead and just hit record. All right, I'm recording a little pattern here, a little factory preset from the Korg Monologue. That's going along nicely. And we'll just stop there for now. Let's roll this back to the beginning. We're going to disarm that, arm the next track. And let's go to a different pattern. How about some kind of bass line? How about... this is a cool one. All right, so we're gonna hit that. We're gonna roll this back. And again, we're just gonna hit record. Here we go. And there you go. That's how you can keep using the sequencer in the Korg Monologue to record multiple tracks that are in sync. You could sequence, of course, things in the monologue with different MIDI CCs from the MIDI Rack that's available since Reason, I believe, 7. You can sequence it with you know, the arpeggiator or the pattern sequencer, the matrix thing, or whatever. But I like certain features of the sequencer inside here. It's very playable. It does certain little cool tricks easily, and it's just a lot of fun to just jam on this thing and then be able to record multiple instances of it in your DAW, and then you're able to mix and master this like you would any other project and get really, really great results. So anyway, that's good for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.